Hi, I'm Celia Schilling from Yacht Club Games.
Hey, this is James from Megacat Studios.
Hey, this is Matt, aka Stormageddon, from Reignite, Screen Snark, and the Fun and Games podcast.
This is Stephanie from the Boss Rush podcast and the Boss Rush Network.
Hey, this is Mark and Keon from Bunte Avond.
Hey, this is Sebastian with the ProNerdReport.com and the Single Player Experience podcast.
Hi, this is Chris.
Mike.
And Garrett from Daylight Basement Studio.
Hey, this is Todd Mitchell from Code Right Play.
Salutations, this is Mike Carroll from Stroll Art.
Hey, this is Jeff Moonen from Fun and Games Podcast.
Hey, this is Patrick from the Backlog Odyssey.
Hey, this is Rune from Runic Codes.
Hi, this is Andrew from Spalato Bros.
Hi everyone, Jill Grote here from the Indie Informer.
Hey, this is Brimstone, and you're listening to Roger Reichart on the Gamerheads Podcast.
And welcome to another episode of the Gamerheads Podcast. My name is Roger. Along with me are my good friends and co-hosts. We have... Oh, no, wait, hold on. Let's try that again. There we go. Phil, the CEO of Gamerheads. Phil.
I hate the machine.
You hate the machine. Well, welcome, Phil. Welcome to the show.
But I dig the song.
Yeah. And then we also have...
song.
Yeah, wait until you hear this. And then we also have my good friend and co-host... Mike!
Somehow that was even worse than last week.
Well,
I had finally grown accustomed to my last song, and I was getting ready. You saw me getting ready.
Yeah,
and then now you do just a basic slide whistle.
No,
I didn't. If you're gonna do something like that, Roger, at least do the Mel Blanc Rubber Band song. You know, from the Looney Tunes, you know.
Well, we didn't have the budget for that, and marketing actually. So what happened was last week, Mark said that was too long. That was too long. We have to cut it back. So they heard that you really liked the slide whistle, so they gave me the slide whistle.
I wrote a rap to go over Mike's song.
Well, I'm sorry. I know we have to talk to Mark, but we also have a very special guest. We have Baron from Lvl1 Gaming. Yeah.
Oh no!
like some ZZ Top going on there.
I feel like I have to come in like a radio jockey, like, yeah, we're coming in live and we're riding the waves, and hopefully everybody's getting home safe. Yeah, it's Baron J67, and you're riding down, sitting here at Gamerheads Radio.
Oh my god! Woo! That was awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, for sure. So marketing wanted to make sure that you got a really good splash with the music and everything. You liked it? Was that good?
That was perfect.
Okay, good.
I feel like I got the warmest of welcomes. That was beautiful.
Good. That was our intent.
Sounded like My Woman from Tokyo, the song did.
I was thinking Hot Blooded.
Yeah. It was a little bit.
I think they're
like
both
that.
by Foreigner, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
And Hot Blooded?
Oh no, not the first one. I don't think that's from Foreigner, is it?
Hot Blooded?
No, Hot Blooded is. I don't know if My Girl from Tokyo, is that from Foreigner too? I don't know,
man.
I just know it.
Trash rock is not my wheelhouse.
I just felt like I was on pirate radio. That's it definitely gave me that vibe. Like, I was like, I'm coming in from the basement. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Purple.
Deep Purple, yeah. Well, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, Baron. Before we get into everything, the news and what we're playing and stuff like that, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and Lvl1 Gaming?
Yeah, so hey, folks, I am Baron, or Baron J67. Yes, my real name is Baron. And I am the communications director and part owner of Lvl1Gaming.com. We are a small site that, covers everything, from news and reviews and everything in between, which means the whole thing. And it's pretty cool. I love it. I was a random guy on Twitter. Like, I never wrote before formally. It was always, college and school and stuff like that. I actually hated writing. No,
because he didn't write about video games. That's why.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was always like the forced assignments, and then I was in psychology, so we had to do APA, and it was just all this crap, and I hated it. It just felt it's funny, right? And now here it is. I'll wake up one day and a spark will go off, and I'll write 3-4 articles.
Yeah.
And I'll be sitting there for fun, and I'm like, oh no, I could definitely flesh that out. But no. So I was given an opportunity by our head, David Whitaker, our famous entertainment. Much love to that guy, because I definitely was a random dude on Twitter who had only been doing video game reaction videos on YouTube. I love trailers. Absolutely love trailers. I'll go back and watch. Like, I still think of Dead Island's original trailer, one of the most beautiful things ever. And for those who haven't watched it, because there's probably a bunch of people who aged out and don't know about that trailer.
Yeah, right.
Go and watch it. It's worth it. The game, don't play it. Go watch it.
That's where all the budget went.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
Into that beautiful 5-minute movie. But no. So I always did trailer reactions and did YouTube content, and I got a wild hair up my butt and was like, you know what? I want to write. And I seen Lvl1 Gaming, and David had put up a tweet like, hey, we're looking for writers. And I hit him up, and he was like, just send me a sample. I was actually more scared of hearing yes than no, because I used to sell life insurance. So, a young dude in their 20s selling life insurance, I was hearing no all day. I'm like, are you ready for the rest of your life? Do you have your plans?
Are you ready for for the rest of your life, right? Yeah.
Are your affairs in order? Do you know what you're going to leave behind for your loved ones?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here, barely any hair on my face. I heard a lot of no's.
Yeah.
But he told me yes. He was like, just send me a sample. I wrote an article about how Rockstar created the Golden Goose in GTA 5, but it's also a gift and a curse, because before GTA 5, 10 years before, they had 13 different IPs, and then 10 years after, they've had 2. And it's just, but what do you tell a company who created the perfect game? Like, even though everybody's all excited for GTA 6 on the future, they didn't have to create it. They could have seriously just rolled out the rest of ever with GTA 5.
Right.
But yes, so that's how I got into the space, and then, worked my way up, got on a few podcast episodes, and now I'm a owner. God.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like, you are one of the nicest people I've ever met in this industry. Like, you see you, you're like, hey, how's it going? And you big hugs, right? And like, just, it's so fun to see you. And the other fun thing is, you were on the couch for, was it Giant Bomb, right?
Yeah. Giant Bomb couch.
Yeah.
Summer Games Fest.
Yeah. I was like, I know that guy. Well, I was like, I know Jill, and I know him. I know both of them.
Dude, Jill is so freaking cool.
Yeah,
Jill is cool. One of the coolest people ever. But no, I was so terrified. Because it finally solidified. Like, hey, man, you do a little more than just post articles, like, and you're on the big stage at this point. Like, this is one of at that point in time, that was the biggest stage in gaming, and you were there. And then the next night, you had Phil Spencer sitting exactly where you were sitting.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy crap.
Yeah.
And it just, people are cool, and you're meeting folks that you've been reading their work for years, and, it just like, bam, they're here, and they're treating you as an equal, as a peer. And it's like, holy crap, am I where I'm supposed to be? You go to security, and I'm like, Baron? And they're like, oh, yeah, here.
Yeah.
Go right up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was nerve-wracking.
That's fun.
I didn't fool myself.
Do you know what Phil Spencer said, actually? He was like, Baron sat in this chair yesterday. That's amazing. That's what I hear. That's the rumors.
Look, I'm gonna tell you. If that was the case, I wouldn't be right. I'd walk around with a crown on my head.
You're like, I wouldn't be talking to you assholes right now.
Yeah, right, that's right. Yeah. What am I doing on Gamerheads? Why am I here?
What? Like, what do you mean?
That's why I told you after you agreed to be on the show. Yeah.
Got you. You know, that's how you keep me level.
Yeah, that's right. Well, until and then you can go on and but at this time,
lord over the gaming.
Yeah,
industry.
exactly. Exactly.
Get rid of the glasses and get 2 monocles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It has to be 2.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's right.
Man. And then one's all one's clipped, and then one's like a wrap. It's all like steampunk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Next time I see you, I expect to see that. Actually, yeah.
I have to be all the way. I'm trying to look around for things. Like it's just like just.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. The other thing I want to say though about I'm going to sing you praises here, because the other thing that I think is so kind of you is you've said this before. You said this. I've seen you tweet this. I've seen you say this on podcasts. I've seen you say this on the giant bombcast, right? I heard you say, like, I love helping people, and if they want to get in this industry, like, reach out to me and I will help you. And I just thought that was so great, because it's just you paying forward, and I just thought that was awesome.
And I'm gonna tell you what's actually really creepy is most people don't reach out. And it's the craziest thing, because I have I've sat down and helped people start up podcasts so many times. I mean, where we're sitting here and we're screen sharing and I'm walking them through, and just because somebody did it for me. Yeah. Like somebody sat for hours helping me go through my audio and running 4 different softwares just to get it to route proper. Like somebody took the time for me. So it's the best thing I can do. And honestly, all it does is help us grow. Like I love what Luke over at the at Xbox podcast, Luke Lore. I can't believe I just butchered his podcast. He's gonna kill me. But no, he always says, rising tide, raises all ships. Like we all there's enough internet and eyes for all of us.
Yeah.
Like the internet is a very big place.
Yeah. Yeah. Boy, I wish I had somebody that kind of guide me when I first started. That'd been nice. Gee. Yeah. Man. Phil, I wish we had a budget to do that. Jeez.
You spent it all on the slide whistle.
Yeah, no shit. If you just would have bought a dollar store kazoo, we'd still have money in the budget.
You could have let me beatbox my own theme like I asked, then we wouldn't have had this conversation.
He's like, every time the whistle, you just see the further and further in the red.
I got a little like thermometer on the right-hand side of my screen that every time the whistle goes up, it just goes down. I'm like,
yeah.
Need some ad revenue.
Oh, there it is. Oh, no. Oh, no. And it goes up and down. Yeah.
We lost 3 listeners with that, too.
L's all the way around.
Oh, man. Well, Baron, it's so awesome to have you on the show. I didn't mean to cut you off. Were you going to say something else? I'm sorry.
I was going to say, no. I was going to keep riding that wave.
Yeah, keep riding it. Keep riding it. Keep going.
And it just L's all the way around. We're just down. What do they say? It's a bear podcast.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, it's some kind of podcast, that's for sure. Anyway, yes, it's really. I'm so glad that you're able to join us, and like I said, you're such an awesome person, and seeing you in person was so fun too. And just love hanging out with you. So, thank you so much for joining us.
See you at PAX East.
Yes, I will. I'm hoping that one of these other 2 come along with me, but. We'll see.
Party.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into some news. The first thing I'm going to talk about here is I wasn't going to talk about it, and then I decided to talk about it because I'm going to talk about it. The reason I wasn't going to talk about it because it feels like it's still in flux, and it feels like there's still some unanswered questions, and there's some pivoting, it feels like. So maybe by the time you hear this, things might have changed completely. I don't know. But what I'm referencing, if you haven't guessed so far, is the news about Unity and how they are going to charge for downloads. I think they call them runtime fees. So anytime a game gets downloaded, they will charge a fee to the publisher or to the developer. And the fees are based on two things. One, what level of Unity you have. So if you're on the personal or pro, which is very strange to me because like a lot of people probably have the pro, especially if you're an indie dev, you probably have the pro. If you have met 200,000 downloads of your game and you met the threshold of $200,000, you will get charged a fee of 20 cents for every download that you have. And then if you have I think it's Enterprise and Premier. I don't remember the other tier was. There was another tier, but if you had that tier, which is a more expensive one, again, you had to meet the threshold of 200,000 downloads, $200,000. And then based on how many downloads, this is where it gets really convoluted. If you get like 1 to 100,000 downloads past the threshold, they charge you like 12 cents. And then past that is like 7 cents. And then past that is like 3 cents. And then finally, if you get 1 million downloads, they charge you a penny per download past the threshold. It's so convoluted and it's so crazy. But I was doing a little bit of math on this. Oh, because like the other thing I want to mention here. So initially it came out that it would be every download. What is so funny? What are you laughing at for there, Phil? What's so funny? Just how I get so worked up about this. Anyway.
No, not even that.
Oh, okay.
I sent Phil. I've been building up this joke all day, so I'm getting ready. To say
you're
it,
ready?
So I
okay.
gotta wait till you're done.
Oh, okay.
You're done.
I'm almost done. I'm almost done with my little rant here, and then I'll open up the floor. Initially it was that every download would be charged. So if I would download it and then I removed it from my system and download it again, it was a charge. But they said no. If it's not a re-download, that's not going to count anymore. But if I buy it on the Xbox and I buy it on Steam and I buy it on Nintendo Switch, that does count as 3 downloads. So that's one thing. The other thing that's interesting is Game Pass or any other services like that. But I'm going to bring up Game Pass. They said that they will charge Microsoft the charge, and then Microsoft will go back and charge. Well, it's up to them if they want to charge the developer, I guess, which is really fascinating because Microsoft certainly didn't sign up for this, and that was not part of the deal. And like, so I did quick numbers on this. So I was looking at Vampire Survivors, and I just looked because they didn't show me the download base for the number of downloads for Microsoft. So there's 25 million. Microsoft says they have 25 million players or user base on Game Pass. So just take that in consideration. So I didn't include that though. But if you looked at their downloads, they showed me the downloads for the Androids app. It was 1.75 million downloads. Oh, by the way, here's the other thing that's really interesting. The whole threshold of $200,000, 200 downloads, 200,000 downloads is retroactive. So it happens now. So the effect of the fees go in on January 1st, but the downloads are happening actually now. Back as I think 2 years, as back as 2 years. So think about that. Think about this. Yeah, exactly. So I did the math. I think it came to like $300,000 that Vampire Survivors would owe just for the Android
game.
Yeah. Exactly. That's just on Android. That's not counting Steam. That's not counting whatever Microsoft, the Game Pass charge downloads. That doesn't count the Nintendo downloads that just came out.
Or
that doesn't count
games.
Or pirated. That's the other thing. And so the other funny thing about that, so people brought that up and said, what about pirated games? Or what about people that want to bankrupt us and will just download the games over and over again just to ruin us? And they're like, well, just let us know if that happens and we'll look into it. Oh, and we're not going to show you the algorithm and how we figure this stuff out or what we track because that's proprietary information and we don't want to share that with you. Super shady, super awful. I can't believe this is happening. And like the developers in the industry have like rallied around this, and they're not happy. So, yeah, I'll open the floor then. What do you do?
Nintendo sues them,
or Microsoft?
Well, Nintendo sues everybody. Is why
true.
Nintendo into play. Like they just don't bat an eye at it.
Well, because another game is the any free to play games. So Pokemon Unite.
Yep,
that's going to be charged. Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh yeah. Yep.
That's a whole lot of microtransactions to pay for that.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that scares me the most about this is how not clear it it's just too that's and then I'm worried that games are gonna this is what I think is about to happen. Tinfoil hat time.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna see physical copies of these games skyrocket to the hundreds to $200, $300. We're gonna be looking at Flappy Bird numbers from all of these games. Because it happened with Flappy Bird. People forget what went down with Flappy Bird or with the PT demo on PlayStation 4s. These things got up to thousands. I got a phone with Flappy Bird on it. What? $400, $500 easy. So now you're going to be looking at the Switch, especially the Nintendo Switch versions of any of these games. Those things already are expensive to begin with. Now so you got the Nintendo tax, and then you tack on what the market's going to do with all of this info, and then you hear horror stories like I don't know if you guys seen it. Cult of the Lamb came out and was like, "Hey, you guys better go and buy it because January 1st we're taking it down because you can't even risk it because there's no clarity." Yeah. As if I was running a company, I wouldn't even risk it. I would be terrified because who has that much liquid money just sitting around?
And it's random every month. You don't know because they'll charge you every month. So 1 month you might be charged really a lot of money, and the next month maybe you didn't have as many downloads, so they don't charge you as much, right? It's so in flux. As an indie developer, this is going to crush the indie scene. When it's so sad because I feel like this is the moment where we start to see the rise of the indies, right? Like everybody's like, "Oh, this is where the magic is happening is in indie world." And this is going to crush the indie scene. It's awful.
What do you think the chances are that just this means an increase in the price of games?
No,
they're going to have to.
High.
Yeah, they're going to have to.
Yeah. Or the days of getting an indie game for $40, a top tier indie game, is over.
Yeah,
$39.99 indie games, you're gonna be seeing them $50 and $70. Like it's has to.
$5 Vampire Survivors. That's not gonna happen anymore.
And then what about so I'm one of those weirdos who has Humble Bundle, PlayStation Pass, and Game Pass. Humble Bundle, now I did see something talking about how they were like, charities, it bypasses that. So maybe Humble Bundle has like they kind of curve that because every purchase is part. Yeah. But then again, how does Unity know? Like, are they going to have to report? Like, hey, we sold 1,000 Humble Bundle keys. Here's the codes that went out. Like, what's the system going to be? And then the whole, just trust me, it'll work.
Yeah. Oh, trust me. After we just came up with this really shady system, trust us on how we're going to figure out the algorithm on the background side. Like, that is the craziest to me. Mike, you had a joke you wanted to say?
Unity, more like screw you, Nitty.
I was so glad we
all day. I've been building up to that all day.
The bar came up again.
Yeah.
Are we running this program off of Unity?
Man.
The slide whistle from them.
Oh my gosh. No, but you know what scared me the most, right? What somebody brought up the point on our show the other night. They were like, "What if they would announce this right before PAX West?"
Yeah,
because every game that I'm excited about is made in Unity.
Yeah,
like Mirthwood, the game that I was literally running around like a zealot. Anybody who asked me, "Oh, so how's your PAX?" Hey, have you checked out Mirthwood? Check out Mirthwood, and I made the mistake of starting to look at games that I was happy about and looking forward to, and seeing where they were made.
Oh no!
And they were all in Unity. Don't do it, please. Don't do it to yourselves, because it'll this is like you said. It's gonna crumble. It has the potential to crumble the indie scene.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, crumble it, because I would shut down. I wouldn't risk it.
Yeah.
Think of let's talk about Because how do you even you don't even budget for this. You didn't budget
you
for
can't.
it.
You can't.
Your business plan, and now it's like, well, I don't want to have a successful game because a successful game is gonna like nothing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't understand how they can 2 years back tax on that shit either. Like, everybody that money that they've made off of those games is already being reinvested into making their next game.
So they're not going to charge you. They're not going to charge you the back tax. What they're going to do is say the threshold is 200 downloads, 200,000 downloads. Oh, you already reached that a year and a half ago? Cool. You're going to get charged January 1st. Oh, the threshold is $200,000. Oh, you met that threshold a year and a half ago? Cool. January 1st, we're going to start charging you now for every download that happens as of January 1st. That's what they're backtracking. They're tracking their threshold of number of downloads and number of the profit that you made. The other thing, like, to me, is like look at the tiers. I said this before, but like the 20 cents is 20 cents a download for people that have pro. That's the lowest. Well, not the lowest, actually. Personal is the lowest, which is also really strange to me. So I know Unity a little bit because I have Unity on my computer. And so a personal account doesn't charge you anything. You can have a personal account, but if you have a game that makes $200,000, then you have to buy the pro account. That's how it worked. And it's like, cool. If you're like small, and you're like, I'm going to make a game, but it's not going to make a lot of money. You can have a personal account. It won't be a big deal. But now the way I had that structured, it's like, no, even if you have a personal account, like I guess you would hit the $200,000 threshold and then they would charge you. But they would charge you more because you have a lesser account than those that have the Premier and the enterprise accounts, which are more expensive. So that's the other thing. But I don't know if people understand this, but when you get a Unity seat, they're called seats. So if I had a company and I wanted a bunch of developers working, I had to buy a seat for every one of my developer, which is a yearly fee I have to pay for every one of those seats, right? So that's a charge that I get charged every year for having Unity on my computers and have my developers having those Unity or those seats. That's still happening, but the ones that are buying the lower tier because like they're indie devs, right? They can't afford their enterprise tier because enterprise is probably people for like the EAs in the world and the bigger companies, the world AAA companies. The small companies are going to get screwed over. This is terrible. This is awful. This is the worst. And one thing I'll just say here, and then I'm sorry, now I'm talking a lot here, but one thing that Baron and I were talking about before the show is, we're small potatoes in regards to the media, right? Like, I wouldn't say like we're not like fly by night, but we're not the big names when it comes to media, right? But where is our bread and butter when we go? Like, indies love talking to us because like we help promote them, right, by talking about their games and then reviewing their games, and they want their games to be out in media's hands. And the big journalists like don't always have time to review indie games. So this is where like we fill that space, right? Yep. That's going to dry up for us, like, because indie games are not. And I don't blame them. They're going to be real picky about who they give codes up to now, and I don't know, like. I think like that whole ecosystem is gonna just die. I said one last thing, and this is gonna be my last thing. I'll say the CEO. This is
a classic Roger movie.
This is a classic movie. Yeah, the CEO. His name escapes me right now. He used to be the CEO of. EA as well, and when he was the EA. He introduced loot boxes to like FIFA and other games, right? Boxes. And then EA fired him because they weren't making any money. They were losing money. Although, in his defense, so was the whole rest of the industry. But they fired him, and then he became the head of Unity. And he said some pretty shady things about how, how games make money and stuff like he is not in it for the creative aspect of games, right? He's in it for just making as much money as he can. So, and I get it.
Me to ask my question as well.
Yeah.
What happens? What are the chances that all these smaller indie devs are just going to quit using Unity? And
that's the other thing.
Else, that's just going to fuck Unity and then drive Unity out of business because this guy came in and was just like, "Here's how we're going to make."
100%. That's the other thing that's going to happen. I think in the middle ground here, right, where you have a developer that's 2 years in the making of their game or 3 years in the making of the game. What are they going to do? They're about to launch it. They can't just say, "Well, I don't know what I can't just take this and move it to another platform," because that's not how it works, right? But
So
their
do we
next
think that
game,
do we think that we'll see like a lull as far
Yes.
as like maybe what
Yes.
indie devs are doing, where they're suddenly going to be like, all right, we've been using Unity forever, so fuck Unity now. We're going to backpedal and use something else.
yes,
Starting from square one again, now we're going to have to learn this new system, this new programming system, and it's just going to reset everything. So there might be a
Yes.
weird like year and a half year delay of where we don't see
Yes.
a lot of indie games.
Yeah.
and I question what this is the part that I feel like this is the part that I don't like about this, because I feel like Unity is like, and I shouldn't say Unity. It's not the people that work at Unity. It's the upper people that are making these decisions, right? But they're thinking, we got them where we want them. What are they going to do? Go to a different platform? That's never going to happen, right? And there's it's to a point it's true, because there are other platforms out there. Obviously, you have Unreal Engine, but you also have Game Maker as well. But Game Maker, I mean, I'm not real familiar with Game Maker, but I feel like it doesn't have as much oomph as Unity does. Like Unity is pretty cool, where you have all the interface, and then you can build like C# code for things that you need, and then you can say, okay, expose the code to the UI interface for Unity, and then I can start using it in Unity. Like it's pretty cool that you can have programmers do the programming, and then people that do the game design actually just focus on Unity in Unity. Like there's a lot of really powerful tools in Unity, but that's where I feel like they felt like, yeah, we have them where we want them, and we'll just take their money, and there's nothing they can do about it. But I do think, Phil, that's what's going to happen, is there's going to be a lull in indie games at some point. Like at this point, everything that's announced, well, even that, I think some indie developers are wondering, should we even release the game? Like, what's the point at this point?
Honestly, you could risk your livelihood.
Yeah.
By releasing a game. And I made the joke live. I was like, oh man, imagine if Dave the Diver was made in Unity, and they were like, it is. I was just like, but think about it, like every game wants to be successful, but every game doesn't think they're going to be a Dave the Diver. Come out of nowhere, hit a major home run, be everywhere on every platform, top trending on Twitch, big crazy number. Nobody expects that. And now that's a punishment under Unity.
Yeah.
But check this out. So tinfoil hat time again.
Somewhere.
Because I love this stuff, right? Like I'm not heavy into business, but when you kind of just see something that doesn't make sense, it's like, oh, wait a minute. So over the course of a year, the CEO, John Riccitelli, I'm horrible with names.
Yeah, Riccitelli. There's an O at the end. Yes.
Yeah. He sold up to 50,000 shares.
Yes.
And has bought none.
Yes.
Over the course of a year.
Yes. That's what I heard too.
Here's my tinfoil hat. And I made the joke. I was like, man, the only way they're going to be able to make a comeback is under a different name. Ta-da! You keep everything the same and you fold it, and all the software and properties is still there, and you just rebrand it under something else, under somebody else, and ta-da!
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What a way to lower your value and announce something absurd. And then people still know, because the properties and the IP as the function of Unity would still be under whoever owns that.
Yeah.
Now, once again, this is all complete tinfoil hat time, but it kind of makes sense. I mean, we've seen it happen with a couple of other stores. Like, it's not the most uncommon thing ever.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And when you see somebody like the CEO selling 50,000 shares over the course of a year, buying none, and then you see a crazy announcement that undercuts the whole structure of the business, it sounds like you're trying to melt it down.
Yeah, it's usually a pretty good indication where the direction of things are going when your CEO is suddenly just dumping a shitload of shares. Like, it's just like, okay, we see what's happening here.
What are you doing with our shares?
Not enough. Buying slide whistles, apparently.
Oh, that's funny. I mean, so I'll say the other flip side of the coin, right? Like, Twitter blew up over this stuff, right? And like social media blew up. One thing I will say, I do not condone, obviously, but then I also read today there's a lot of death threats against offices. So there's offices in San Francisco and in Texas, and I can't remember the other one. There was like 3 offices that they closed their doors because of all the death threats that they're getting. Again, not those people's fault. They're not the ones that are like, not that I condone death threats on anybody, but I'm just saying, like, obviously that is not the direction we should be going. Obviously, like, I like the fact that these indie studios are standing together saying this is not acceptable. Like, change your ways. Although even if they change their ways, they broke the trust. They could say, oh, you know what? We're not going to do that. And then 3 months later, they're like, gotcha. We're going to do it again. Right? Like, there's nothing stopping them from doing it again. It's very frustrating.
It's scary, and then it's sad but true. It's gonna hit us.
Yeah,
like, and it's crazy because it's gonna hit us as journalists. It's gonna hit us as consumers. It's gonna hit, and then it's gonna mess up the momentum. I think that's what bothers me the most is the momentum in what you've been seeing with indies and indie games almost winning Game of the Year legitly. Like,
no.
You know,
right.
And like I didn't realize how many games use Unity. Like I didn't know.
It's a majority. It's either Unreal or Unity, right? And Unreal is like typically your like big like open world games will probably
your Unreal.
Yeah. And I suspect it's because the cost is much higher for Unreal as well. And their engines can do more than what Unity can do. I mean, you could build a 3D game in Unity, but I'm just saying, like, Unreal's where those go. The other thing I'll say too is like this is the part that breaks my heart too, is because as a reviewer, like, yes, we get review codes, we review games, like that is our gig, right? That's what we do. But there are times where I'm like, I really love this game. I'm going to go out and buy it on the Switch. I got it for the Xbox. I'm going to go buy it for the Switch so I can give that developer some money because, like, this is a cool game and I should support them because this is awesome. Now it's like going to be, I want to support you, but I can't because it's going to hurt you in the pocketbook. Like, it's just dumb. This is the dumbest. I cannot get over how stupid this is.
As you say that, I just bought Horus yesterday again for the second time because I now have it on the Switch and on that, and Horus is developed in Unity.
Yeah. Oh, also think about this: if you have it on your computer on Steam, and you have a Steam Deck, that's 2 downloads.
Did you see the image a developer made? Jakob, I forgot his last name, but he made Rain on Your Parade. He put an image out, and it was of somebody putting in a Switch cartridge and then taking it out, and it was like 20 cents. Like that's essentially what was happening. Like you put it in, take it out, 20 cents.
20 cents.
And nuts.
Yeah.
And you know what? Is it going to be tied to like, so with the physicals? So if I buy a new Switch and I install it, does that
You'll count because all the games right now, like outside of like obviously retro games, but new games, like there are calls out to the web service to get information, right? To get down, right? There might be updates and stuff like that. So they are doing web calls out to get this information. Well, Unity knows. Unity will be able to see that. They'll be able to see these pings and they'll be like, cool. That's another download that we get. Like that's a physical copy. We're going to take that money. Like there's nothing, but I'm assuming that we don't know because Unity is not sharing anything about their like how the structure works. But I would assume that even physical copies, because of the fact that it's all interconnected with the web, they'll know. They're looking at runtimes, and the runtime is going to be hit when it's going out to a server to get some information, whether it be like saving scores out there or whatever the case is. There's going to be a ping to some web service, and they'll know.
You know what else? My final point on it, because I really could talk about this all night because it's just so scary, right? But the part that I feel like the burden of proof is going to fall on the devs, so they're just going to keep charging you until you go in and say, "Hey, no, these were
you
stolen."
Charge us for $750, and we actually only sold 5.
But it's going to be on us. Now we still had to pay. but then the ownership of games, like somebody brought up that question, like, does this mean I even own my game anymore?
Right.
Like
apparently Unity does. Yeah, it's weird. It's so frustrating.
I don't get it.
I don't either. So heartbreaking. Mike, do you have any final thoughts on this? You've been kind of quiet, and I want to make sure I get your time in if you wanted to say something. Besides the joke that you dropped, that was amazing. That was a great joke.
Top tier.
Funny. Yeah.
Grudge is on Unity.
Yeah, it is.
Is it as well?
And I bought that game twice.
Yep.
Gonna start looking into getting some physical copies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna start doing that. I wasn't planning. I have Dredge on Xbox. I might pick up physical. Same with Cult of the Lamb.
Yep.
Yeah, but I still think they'll be able to track that. Even if you get a physical copy, they'll be able to track that.
My guess is what they'll do
runtime. There's a runtime.
Well, my guess is what they'll do is that they'll pre-charge. Like if a developer says that they're going to make X amount of physical copies for a game, they're going to be like, okay, that means you're going to sell X amount of copies of a game.
Oh my
Therefore,
God, the market
X
is
amount of
dead.
nut from it. Like they're just going to pre-charge is what they're going to do because I don't necessarily think because I could disconnect my Xbox from the internet or my Switch from the internet. I can put my physical copy and I can insert it and it'll still download regardless if it's connected to the internet or not. So it's not going to be able to keep track that way. So I think what they'll end up doing is just pre-charging.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, I was just thinking because yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Baron. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. What you said earlier, Phil, like the cost of games is going to skyrocket.
Yeah.
Like
it has to.
Yeah. I didn't even think about the It's crazy how we like take a few seconds and start like pulling it apart.
Mm-hmm.
There's another fee, another way, another problem. And I just, oh my God. You know what? Limited Run and freaking Special Reserve are about to make a killing.
Well, yeah, maybe they're like, thank you.
Right? Like the one people to win out of this are the people who've been trying to keep physical games going. Like, you're going to see a surge in physical games. It's going to happen.
And it makes me so angry. And it makes me so angry because I think we're past the rise. Sorry, Roger. I think we're way past the rise of the indie games. I think we're in the golden era right now.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Where I'm brought back to 2004, where a bunch of those early 2000s era, where a whole bunch of great games were coming out,
like Braid and all the bunch.
Now we're in an era where these big budget games are coming out once every 5 years, as opposed to once every other year. But they've got these big budgets. But in the span in between those 5 years, between those big budget games, we have got hundreds of amazing smaller games. I prefer a game that I could beat in 6 to 8 hours. I don't want to play a 120-hour game, because, I like to do different experiences. So that's why I love indie games more. And if this is going to drive people to close their doors, this is like an evil practice. Like it goes beyond greedy. Like this is evil. This dude is just king douche. Like I'm hoping he gets there's enough pushback that they decide not to do this. But and I'm not worried. Like people like I don't know, like Nintendo and like Sony and them, they got the money, they can afford it. That's no problem. But again, with all these, like Pumpkin Jack, do you remember Pumpkin Jack?
Yeah, I just saw it on sale on the deals. I'm like, that's a great game.
It is a good game, and we're gonna lose out on games like that.
Oh, think about this. You won't see games on sale anymore because that will encourage more downloads.
So much for Tales from the eShop.
Yeah, so much for Tales from the eShop. Yeah.
So,
that's actually crazy.
That's actually another good point because, like, I'm thinking this is going to kill the creative industry, which it will. But the other thing it might kill off is like these games that are just fly by night that they're just like, we know this is trash, but we're just hoping to make money on it. They might also just kind of disappear. I'm not saying that's a good thing, because there is some kind of cult-ish about, like, there's some, you know what I mean, like it's kind of fun, like not cult-like as in the Cult of the Lamb, but like cultish.
1 through 4.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
There's like, there are people that, like, you know, like, that's the thing, the beauty about video games right now is like there's a game for everybody out there, and that's not gonna happen anymore. They're gonna be so much more, unless of course they move off of Unity and they say, move on. This is a perfect time if you out there, hey, Mr. Developer, Miss Developer, if you're coming up with a platform to make games, this is your moment. This is your moment to shine right now.
So we can get paid.
Yeah. Anyway, no, I'm talking about like make your own game maker platform.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Do it.
I did see a tweet by RPG Maker, and they're like, we're just saying that you can make a game on our system and then have other people play it. I don't know, maybe that's relative news now, I'm not sure, but you can. And I thought that was pretty funny. Okay. It's heartbreaking. So awful. But yeah, I just thought about that. Like, oh yeah, all those games that are on sale. Like, like normally, oh wow, a game that's like 90% on sale. This is amazing. I'm gonna go get it. Like, that's not gonna happen anymore.
It's not worth the risk.
Nope.
Let's talk about happy things.
Yeah, how fucked up is that? We can't put our game on sale in fear that we might sell something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. Oh, or you know, hey, order it now on pre-sale and get it discounted. That's probably not gonna happen anymore.
Right.
Oh man, dude, this is getting sad.
I know. Baron, why did you bring us down, man? Why did you have to?
You know what the funny part is? You know what the best part is? At the beginning, Roger's like, "Oh, before we get started on our news, I just want to quickly touch on something."
I know. I was like,
and
and
now
we're
we've
like
been quickly
45 minutes
touching it for
in.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, what had happened was.
Yeah. Well, should we move on to nicer things, or happier things? There was a Nintendo Direct and a State of Play for PlayStation.
I thought you said happy and nice.
Hey.
Oh, hey, Phil. Today is a day. Yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
A full-blown remake of Contra is.
Yeah.
Oh, that does look really cool. I did watch.
That does look pretty cool.
Yeah. I can't. Okay, I take it back.
So let's do this. Can we go around the horn and say like our top like couple games that we're excited about, either from the State of Play or for our Nintendo Direct, and then if you saw both of them, I would like to see what kind of grade you gave both of those. So Baron, since you're our guest, I'll start with you. What were some of your highlights?
So the Nintendo Direct, it was super easy because the one thing that stood out above everything else was Vanillaware's Unicorn Overlord. I am
that does look cool.
I am a huge Ogre Battle 64 fan. Like,
Gotcha.
Ogre Battle 64 absolutely changed my life. That messed up how I played video games. Like, if it wasn't a deep story with multiple endings and being able to choose your class from that point forward, I just couldn't really get into it. So it absolutely ruined me. So to see something that looks like a proper spiritual successor, like Symphony of War, over from Freedom Games, that got pretty close. That gave me the feel of like the old school Ogre Battles. But this looks like Ogre Battle 64.
Yeah.
And I didn't care about nothing else. I'm so happy for the Mario fans.
Yeah.
Like, I'm happy for them. Good for you. You got a cool movie and a bunch of games coming. Hopefully they don't pull them off the store after 4 months. But yeah, that happened. But that's what I was so happy about with the Nintendo Direct. I didn't really care about anything else. Udian Chronicles looked cool, but that was delayed, and I think that was originally supposed to come out like last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But now and then I'm supposed to. So overall grade for me is like an 8, simply because of the Vanillaware And then Unicorn Overlord. I have no idea. Hopefully, there's a unicorn in the game because that would it'd be a missed
false
opportunity.
advertising. Yeah.
Maybe the unicorn is the Overlord, and that's like the final boss you gotta fight.
Dude comes out, is all casting every type of spell from his freaking horn. That'd be dope. But yeah. So I give it an 8 just because of Vanillaware, and then the PlayStation State of Play. I'm happy we got release dates. Yeah. like no, not even trying to be like rude or anything. Like I'm truly happy we got release dates.
That's good. No, that's good.
And that collector's edition of Final Fantasy 7 Part 7 Part 8 looked great. And I really wish I had an extra. I wish my Constellation edition cost $5 so that I could have bought that too, because it looks badass.
Mm-hmm.
I would get in trouble because I have nowhere to put it, but it would be cool if you had a big ass Sephiroth like just sitting right here, like just constantly watching over me, like Ric Flair does. Like Ric Flair watches over me. Yeah, like woo, and he makes sure I get through my day. So it would be cool to have Sephiroth. I mean, two hand claps.
He's watching you. You better be writing. You better write some reviews.
Dude, he says, some people have other objects that watch over them for power and grace.
Yeah, you have Ric Flair. It's honestly that's not bad. I mean,
you got the nature boy looking over you, man, and he's still kicking. If he's still kicking, you got a long time left on this world, brother.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Figure 4 writer's block.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. What was your score? What's your overall score for the State of Play then?
A 6.
Yeah,
a 6. Yeah, no, it wasn't horrible. Like it was definitely not meant for us because we've been following these games for so long. But there's definitely a bunch of people out there who did not know that there was another Final Fantasy VII coming, and they finally, got a release date. So
the people out there apparently didn't know Spider-Man 2 was coming out. What?
Yeah, I didn't know. And then and then they're gonna have like 60-something suits. Hopefully it's not.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm sorry. At some point there's too many suits. I'm sorry. There's like,
at what point is there suits? Too
much? You got the Spider-Man 67, the Spider-Man 68, the Spider-Man 69, the Spider-Man 70. No, there's one more black line in the webbing. So
that's right. That's right. That's right.
Gloveless. Hooded Spider-Man, King Spider-Man.
I was fine with most of them, but like 60, come on, really?
And then I don't even think they're all directly tied to comics. That would have been a better thing. Like if each suit had the issue behind it.
Yeah.
That would have been dope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That would have been so cool to like each one, like, hey, this is the first issue it was introduced, because I know in the previous games they used to do a little bit.
You collect the covers and shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that is still in there. Because that would be a robbed experience, especially if you're gonna have that many.
Yeah. 60. Wasn't there also said something like there's 60, but then you can also customize them? I'm like, what are you doing? Like that's, I mean, it sounds kind of cool, but also like, what are you doing?
You got to swing it to the car wash. Like,
hit the paint spray really quick.
It's like Grand Theft Auto style.
Yeah, as I say, you're being chased by the cops and you go in there and change your suit and you swing out of there. Well, that's not the Spider-Man we're looking for.
Yeah.
Ooh, that guy has 7 black boxes on the front, not 6.
No.
Definitely not.
Yeah. He does swing from webs, but that can't be him.
Yeah,
Probably his brother.
Yeah. Probably. Very cool. Mike, what did you... Okay, let's start with the Nintendo Direct. What were your highlights from the Nintendo Direct?
Man, I liked this. This was a good one. It wasn't anything crazy or out of this world, but it had enough announcements that made me say, all right, that's not so bad. I'm going to call out Trombone Champ, first of all.
Damn it, you already stole my thunder.
Well, I'm just calling it out.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, yeah. I actually, yeah. Do that slide whistle.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, should we do that? Yeah, here we go.
I was currently developing Slide Whistle Champ on Unity, but now I'm shutting it all down.
Financially recovered.
That would have been a huge hit. Just 2 notes. Boo!
I know a lot of people are hating on it. I don't know why, but I think this new Prince of Persia looks pretty nice.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah. It was at PAX West, and it was really cool looking.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And then my these last 2, this is my runner-up and my favorite. My runner-up, Mario versus Donkey Kong, because I love those games. Those are a lot of fun. They're too hard.
Yeah.
They remind me how dumb I am, but that's okay, because I still have fun. And then I know it's a re-release. Oh, yeah, well, Contra already. Yeah, that's great. I know it's a re-release, and I don't care. Tomb Raiders 1 through 3.
Yeah, that
I'm
looked
so
really
excited
cool too.
for that. That's one thing when my wife and I were first dating. That's what we bonded over. Me playing and then her asking me to do a swan dive off of a building right onto the pavement. I'm like, all right, you want to see that again? I did seriously. All right, swan dive, crack, and she would laugh maniacally.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then we got married.
And then you got married. It was one date, and then we got married.
That was
Gaming, it'll do it.
That's right.
So yeah, a lot of cool stuff in there. You know, I pre-ordered. Just so you know, in case anybody's checking, the Legend of Zelda amiibo is now on the Best Buy website. So I pre-ordered mine. So yeah, a lot of good stuff. I'd give it a B+, just because like there were a lot of stuff that made me say, you know what, I like this. This makes me happy.
State of play? Did you see the state of play?
What can I say that Baron hasn't already covered? It was there. It was an event. But the thing I'll say is that Sony really tempered everybody's expectations and said these are games that you are already aware of, and a lot of our third-party partners. So I'm gonna give it a C+, only because like my favorite announcement is a third-party game. And Phil, do you know any of the announcements that came out from the State of Play?
I did a quick recap of a read or read of a recap, one of the two, whichever way you want to phrase that. So, I mean, I quickly glanced at it, so I don't know a ton of it, much like I don't know a ton about the Nintendo one either, because it's, you know.
Yeah. Well,
because you were working and then you didn't have a chance to watch it? Is that why?
No, yes.
Yeah, CEO stuff.
CEO stuff. Yeah.
I'm just going to call it, I'm very excited. And I love when they announce things that are like, oh, by the way, this is out next week. And as such, one of my favorite ladies of all time, Ada Wong.
Oh, yeah.
Is going to be hanging out with me next week. Resident Evil 4 Separate Ways DLC. So excited.
Yeah, it's true.
So,
I mean, I saw that and I thought of you, and I was like, I have no idea who this character is. But Mike was probably pretty happy.
Wow, that makes me angry. I told you, Resident Evil 4 is not that scary. It's an action game.
It's intense, but not scary.
Resident Evil 2 is terrifying. Resident Evil 4 is, you just got a lot of ammo.
Yep.
Just imagine you're playing Dead Rising.
I mean, you can say this all you want. I mean, I could barely make it into what was the Outbreak or Outlast.
Barely, that game is horrifying.
Roger didn't even get to the horrifying part. He made it into the waiting room and...
That was scary.
I won't even install it.
See?
I need.
This is why we're friends, Baron. This is why we're friends.
I need to be able to fight back. No, I can get through. I can kind of get through a horror game where I have the ability to defend myself.
Right.
You tell me the whole point is to run.
Yeah. No. Exactly. Give me some superpowers and I'll play the game.
Resident Evil. Like with House Benevito, that's why that was the scariest location in the game.
Oh, that was so cool. That was so creative.
Because there was just you were just there to survive.
Yep.
Wait, is that in Resident Evil 4? Is that in Resident Evil 4?
8.
Oh, 8. Okay.
I'm telling you though, if you can muster up the courage, when you get to the midpoint in Outlast, or it's like there's this thing that happens in the middle that's just so cool.
I'll just I'll just have somebody else watch it and then tell me about it, or you guys play it and tell me about it. Why don't you just tell me about it right now? Just say it right now on the podcast.
Spoiler
cast. Released in like 2013, right? 2012. Resident Evil 4 released in 2005, so that's old enough. Maybe I'll see if our buddy Retro Game Frankenstein.
Oh, yeah, no.
Because then you'll have no choice. You'll be forced to play it.
You gotta make sure he doesn't show
I'll
up.
give RGF a call.
Yeah, don't do that. Anything else, Mike?
No, that was it. Ada.
Phil? Any thoughts?
I have lots of thoughts about a lot of
things. I know you do.
Yeah. I quickly skimmed over the Nintendo notes. I got stoked for Trombone Champ because it did look pretty damn amusing.
Oh, and then you could play with the Joy-Con. That looked great.
You want to keep doing that for about another 3 minutes?
No, I don't. But it did look cool, though.
Kind of that motion reminded me of the toilet paper game. In all honesty, like
yeah, it really
kind
did.
Of a gimmick like the toilet paper game had.
Yeah.
WarioWare intrigued me just because those games are romantic and fun and stupid at the same time. It's nice to see Dave the Diver getting a lot more love and on some other systems as well. And I've got a joke sitting in my head about the entire Tomb Raider trilogy coming over, but I'm just not going to make fun of Nintendo tonight. I'm going to do my best to not make fun of Nintendo, so I'm just going to sit on that one.
Okay. You know, it also showed up in a state of play, too.
Tomb Raider?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was just going to say that even if it was still using the PS1 graphics, it'd be the second best looking game on the Switch, and it could actually run it without fucking chugging. Baron made the face.
Hey, look, Nintendo, I'm just a guest here. No. No, hey, no, I believe me when I tell you my beef with, like...
You know what? That's okay. Phil jokes about around a lot about the graphics and how terrible graphics are. But Phil, what was your favorite game that came out last year, right around this time, that you still play and try to get all the achievements for that you got Roger and I hooked on?
Vampire Survivors?
Yeah, Vampire Survivors.
Well, wait. I got you guys hooked on it. I brought this up first.
You played for 10 minutes before I played for 12 hours.
Well, okay, true, but I did tell you guys to go play it. That is a true statement. That is a true statement.
Isn't it trippy how it just, like, it felt like for so long we were pushing to get to the biggest, most graphically powerful game.
And now we're dumbing it down and just looking for good stuff.
Yeah. Like, just give me an experience. Give me something that makes me feel good.
I agree.
Yeah.
Or something I just don't have to think while I play is half of it with me. Like, I get home after 10, 12 hours of work and I just want to shut my brain off and move 2 thumbs and a couple of fingers and, like, I'm good. I don't need a big, like, anything going on.
Trombone Champ is perfect for you.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? It's funny for me. Dumbing down is like now, like, not so much tactical RPGs.
Right.
So I'm like slowing down and I'm playing like Slay the Spire for the first time.
Yep. Yeah. That's a good game.
Oh my God, Slay the Spire is so damn good.
As you were talking Ogre Tactics, all I could think of was Final Fantasy Tactics and how much time I sunk into that game and how I haven't been able to touch a tactics game since then because it ruined me.
Have you played Tactics Advance?
No.
They have So it's not as so Final Fantasy Tactics Advance is not as gritty, not even close to being as gritty as Final Fantasy Tactics was or is. But my God, they add a judge system and then there's a card system and then a mission system to where you could infinitely play the game if you want to.
That's the problem is I don't have infinity time anymore. I'm not in my early 20s.
Yeah, doesn't that suck? Like, no, because let me tell you, it's the worst. It's the worst because then I have the nerve to enjoy games like Starfield and freaking Mountain Blade Bannerlord. Like, these games literally have no ending.
Yes.
No real, like, hey, the game no longer can go any further.
Yep.
You can continue growing. You can continue building your kingdom. You can continue squashing rebellions. And I'm talking about Mountain Blade Bannerlord. Please go and check it out for those who don't know. But here it is. I'm playing games where you could put in 60 hours and get nothing done.
Yep.
And I have the nerve to buy more of them. And then you got your G Cloud. So now I can, like, play more of them instead of I was shocked I beat Immortals of Avium. And I worked hard to beat it, not because it was a bad game. It was fun. It felt like a solid Xbox 360 action shooter game. It was pure fun. It was fun. The jokes were just the right amount of cheese. It was good. But Starfield and Sea of Stars and it's
Hey, you know what? You don't have to worry, because in half a year to a year's time, there's gonna be a lull of games because nobody's gonna be making games.
Finally gets to that backlog.
Yeah, and I mean, no, this is horrible. You don't need it.
See, Roger, you had to get
I
that
know.
slide
I'm so
whistle
sorry.
out.
I know. I did.
Just play the second half of the slide whistle. That's when we started talking about the directs.
Yeah,
now Roger
that's right.
has to bring us back to Unity.
God, it all comes back to Unity.
Wait, I got another one. Unity, more like Boo-nity. All right.
Oh, yeah.
I was saying Boo-nity.
Yeah, that was a good one.
So needless to say, that's my takeaway from the Nintendo.
Yeah. What did you give it a score?
Yeah, I gave it.
I don't know if I want. I don't want to.
It somewhere in there.
I gave it an N for Nintendo.
For Nintendo, good job.
It was very Nintendo.
I gave it an N for Nintendo. There was some. I could have given it an M for Mario as well, but I went with an N
that's
for
true.
Nintendo.
Well, at least I didn't give an L. For Luigi. Oh, yeah.
Wait, that's also. Never mind. I'm not even going to touch on that shit either.
Hit the snare.
Yeah. There it is. Sorry, our producer's not on top of things. Sorry about that.
Producer Paul.
Yeah.
We've got marketing and producer Paul.
Yeah.
From the PS5 event, all I really took from it is, wow, new colors for the PS5 and the controllers. Neat.
Okay, that was funny. What was that? I saw that. I was like, really? This is your halfway point? And you're going to be like, look at this. We got some colors. For the PlayStation and
meanwhile, on
controllers.
Microsoft,
Amazing.
you can make customized controllers with all of your colors and anything that you want. You don't just have to beat the whims and the violence of Sony.
Oh.
So I give them a P for PlayStation.
Yeah, I know. Like this. I know listeners at home can't see it, but this is my Gamerheads controller. It actually says Gamerheads on it. You can't see it, but it's the Gamerheads color too. Gamerheads green. Mm-hmm. That's an Xbox controller. Thank you.
Well, Gamerhead's green.
Yeah. All right.
Roger. It just hit Roger right there.
Yeah. What score? Did you give it a score?
I gave it a P for PlayStation.
I like that.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
I gave it an N for PlayStation.
All right. So for myself, I mean, if you're a fan of F-Zero 99, I did play a little bit of that. I can talk about that in a little bit here. That was very cool. I also thought the Tomb Raider remastered, remake, whatever, it was pretty cool. Super excited about that.
Tomb Raider 2 story?
No.
So the day this is quality Phil stuff right here. So the day that Tomb Raider 2 came out, I had $20 to my name, and I really wanted to buy Tomb Raider 2, and this is young 19, 20-year-old Phil. So young 19, 20-year-old Phil decided to take his ass to the casino to see if he could win $60 to buy the new Tomb Raider game. And I grabbed my good friend Andy, and we went to the casino, and Andy's not a gambler, and he sat next to me as I stuck my $20 into a red, white, and blue machine to try to win enough money to get Tomb Raider. At which point, I hit an $80 win, and I turned and looked at Andy, and I said, fuck this, we're out of here. We're going to Walmart so I can buy Tomb Raider.
Wow. Yep. That's amazing. That's a good story. That's a good moral of the story, too. Yeah. Good morals to that story.
Yeah, like, I had literally $20 to my name, and I'm like, I don't get paid for 3 days, but I really want Tomb Raider, so let's go to the casino. And he's like, this is the move you want to make? And I'm like...
It was the right move.
It was the right move. Look at that. Yeah.
And I hit, and he's just like, holy shit, it worked. And I'm like, yeah, dude, now we're going to Walmart.
Wow. That's amazing.
24-hour Walmart in Eden Prairie that I give the love to that was still open. And I walked in, I bought my $60, $70 copy of Tomb Raider 2, went home and stayed up probably until 6 o'clock in the morning and partook in a bunch of illegal activities and played Tomb Raider.
Yeah. So I'm excited for Tomb Raider 1 to 3. I think I like Luigi's Mansion, so it was pretty cool that the second one's coming out to the Switch as well. I thought that was pretty cool. I think those were like my big highlights. For the, I would give it a solid B. I thought that was pretty good. I thought it was pretty decent. The PlayStation State of Play, I saw the Ghostbusters game in VR. I thought that was cool, but I'm not going to be playing it on the PSVR 2. I'll be playing it on my MetaQuest. So I was like, yeah, that's cool. I'm glad that game's coming. I thought Spider-Man looked great, but I'm not going to buy a system for Spider-Man. But Spider-Man looked fantastic. I'd give it, I think, Mike, you hit it on the head. Like, they tempered everybody's expectations. Like, don't expect like games to be announced. Like, we're not going to drop any games. We're not going to it's not going to be like, oh my goodness, like this is like, we didn't know. Like, you're going to see everything that you knew was coming. It's just going to have release dates, like you said, Baron. So, I guess if I were to grade it on the fact that they gave that expectation, and I feel like that's a fair thing, I would probably give it a C+, right? Like, because they tempered that expectation.
For honesty.
So. Yeah, for honesty.
Yeah.
Now, Unity, on the other hand.
They got a U in their presentation.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And an F too, probably.
I was about to say a screw before the U.
Oh.
Ooh-wee.
Oof. All right, well, let's move on to games that we're currently playing. Baron, I'll start with you. What games are you currently playing?
Starfield.
Ah! Are you enjoying it? Are you enjoying it?
Let me tell you. Let me just be 100% honest. I'm at the main story mission 2. And I've gotten over 2 days in the game.
Wow. So you're just going out and exploring, or what?
A lot of time messing around. That's impressive.
I'm just doing... Well, let me tell you, quick story. So I've been a Skyrim player and purchaser since it launched. I bought it originally on PS3, but if you guys remember what happened with the DLC, it didn't work for 6 months to a year, so I had to buy it again on the 360. Then, of course, I bought it on the Xbox One. And then, of course, I bought it on PC. And, of course, I bought it on the Series X, the new one they came out with. And, of course, I bought it on the Nintendo Switch, where I finally beat the main story.
Oh, wow. Wow. So those characters in all the other versions are, waiting for you to come back.
100%.
They're waiting.
There's some who got the hearth and home. There's some who have a family. There's some who, and then I always tell myself, I'm gonna play different. I'm not gonna sneak around and snipe people and cast spells from far away. No way. I'm gonna make $1.5 million iron daggers that level up ridiculous. No way. And I do it every time.
And you do it. Of course.
Every time. But yeah, so that was my quick story. So in saying that, I'll probably never beat Starfield. And that's okay.
Until it comes to Nintendo Switch. I'm just kidding. That was a joke.
Hey, look, I'm just, but no, actually, I've heard that with Starfield, people are highly recommending you go through the story because there's things that are linked to it that, without trying to spoil.
Yep.
So I'm actually playing through the story, and I guess after 2 days, I've done enough not doing my job with Constellation. So,
You have a job to do.
Yeah.
What have you been doing? Just walking and just going out? Yeah, exactly. You're just going out exploring? Come on.
The game told me to talk to the bartender, so I had to go talk to the bartender.
And then
the bartender told me that I had to go talk to so-and-so because she's missing her stuff.
Yeah,
so I had to get in
that's literally what... Thank you, Phil. Because that's what happens. I was on my way to a mission, and then a security guard was just talking, and it was a domestic violence situation. Yep. And I was like, they need me. And so,
you don't think they could have handled that on their own?
Nah.
You don't think that they could have been like, "Hey, dude, we got this"? Do you feel like maybe maybe you stepped on their toes, and they're like, "Why are you doing here? Why are you here? We were taking care of this, and you stepped into our realm, and now you're taking our work away from us." You ever think about that?
RNGesus gave me a quest marker, and I will follow it until its end. Bumblebee tuna.
Okay. That's awesome. I will say this about Starfield. every other Bethesda game, like, all the riddled with all the issues. Like, really, I haven't heard many issues with Starfield, right?
I
like,
haven't
it's
had
pretty
one
solid.
crash yet.
I got stuck on a table for a minute, but it didn't crash. But I couldn't get off that table, and I just quick loaded my last save. Like, and it was my own fault for jumping up on the table like an idiot, just because I can jump and there was a table there, so I jumped on it. But I've also classically broken every Elder Scrolls game known to man trying to walk up the side of a mountain because, hey, I bet I can walk up the side of this fucking mountain, then I get stuck on the mountain, and then I gotta it's what I do. I break games sometimes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Do you know that the Tears of the Kingdom, you can like walk around and you won't break the game. You can actually walk wherever you want, and that game won't break.
My Switch.
Is that what you're spending most of your time on? Is that game?
Yeah, and then I'm gonna be playing, putting on my work hat. I'll be playing a game from Wandering Wizard, Survivor Mercs. So I'll be streaming that tomorrow. Or Merc Survivors. I'm so sorry, Wandering Wizard. You guys are awesome people, and I just butchered the name of your game. It's Merc.
Tell me about the game. I don't know enough about this game.
So it's basic. Like, if I had to horribly describe it, it is Vampire Survivors, except you're a colonel and you don't do the fighting. You're recruiting different soldiers, and then they have abilities, and then you're moving around the battlefield and you're trying to survive.
Wow.
And then it's got a roguelite element where you get to boost and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll let you plug here. What's your channel? What's your channel that you stream on that people can follow?
It's going to be youtube.com/Lvl1 Gaming 20, the number 20.
Okay. And when are you streaming that game? What time?
It's going to be sometime tomorrow. It's going to be on a Friday. On the September 15th, within the time frame of September 15th to September 16th.
Sometime in there. Sometime. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a man of my word.
That's actually how Unity actually has most of their policies. They're so vague. They can just say whatever they want.
The gift that keeps on taking.
Backwards Santa Claus.
It's Krampus. Oh my God. I'm an adult, I swear. Oh man!
I'm gonna try to catch your stream because, like, I'm working from home tomorrow. I'm gonna log in the moment I wake up, and I'm gonna message you every hour. Baron, where are you? Where are you, man?
What time you going live? Where you at? It's all pressure. I'm all sitting here pacing. He just wants me to go live. I said I'm going live. Responsibilities. Like, these are my manners.
You'll go live at like 11:45 p.m.
Pacific time.
I said, exactly. Exactly. I'll be in bed by then. I'll be like, where were you? I was live. You were sleeping.
Hey, I fulfilled my obligations.
How long did you stream for? A minute and a half.
Hey, look, industry people listening, I swear I'm a professional. I promise.
You assume people listen to this podcast. That's the problem.
Hey, no.
We don't have the budget for listeners.
No, that's right. This podcast actually doesn't air. This is just for fun.
We just meet here.
Yes.
And we spend a quarter every time we hit a sound button.
We actually have to pay Unity every time we play that damn slide whistle.
Oh my God. Yeah, so thanks for putting me on the spot there, Roger. Wandering Wizard, if you guys are listening to this, I will be going live tomorrow.
I think they might listen to this podcast. Mm-hmm.
No, hey, look, you'd be surprised, man. I went on a show once, and they were like, so I read through your last couple reviews, and I was like, what?
Wow.
I was like, what? Scariest thing. like you did what? Why?
That's hilarious. Wait, you read something on mine?
You just see him pull out his red pen, like he just clicks on it. So
the reason we had you on the show actually is because we want to talk about some of your reviews. Like, excuse me? What?
This is not the thing. I didn't sign up for this. This is an audit. So why did you give this game a 7.5?
Yeah, right. That's right. Okay, I'll tell you a quick story about that, actually. You have to tell you a real quick story, because I don't think I shared this story with you. I shared it with these two. But when I was at PAX East, there was standing in line to get in onto the floor, and I was standing next to this guy, and he was from Boston, and because he had a very thick Boston accent. And I'm not going to try to give the accent because I can't. But he was like, he was talking about a game. I don't remember what else. He's like, but journalists, they ruined the game. They gave it a 7. Every game should be a 10 out of 10. Why isn't every game a 10 out of 10? Like, every game should be a 10 out of 10. I was like, oh, and then I'm hiding my badge as he's talking, right? And then his wife turns to me and is like, wait a minute. You're a journalist. I'm like, I am. And she says, I was expecting the next words to come out of her mouth. Who do you write for? What organization do you represent? How did you get that? That was her words. How did you get that badge? And I was like, I don't know. I walked up and I showed them my ID and they said, oh yeah, Roger, you're from Gamerheads. Here's your badge. I don't know. I actually said, because I review games. I don't know. Like, I give games 7 out of 10. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Since we're talking horror stories with reviews, I started this and I apologize that I completely derailed the show. So,
That's all right. This show is this is every week, so that's fine.
Dying Light 2.
Oh yeah, Phil, what's your favorite game?
Look, I caught so there was in this. I hope I'm not breaking some type of embargo, but
probably not. Maybe if you find out it is, just tell me and I'll edit this out. Okay.
Look, so there was a moment in the game that they warned us, and it was like, hey, there's a bug. If you get to this point, do not reset your game. Do not, like, there was a point in this build of the game, and because we got it pretty early, so I was like, okay, thanks. But so have you guys played it?
Phil has.
Okay, do you remember when the explosion goes off in the elevator? Okay, so at that part of the game, that was the glitch part.
The entire game's a giant fucking glitch. I hate that game.
But wait.
Sorry.
But wait. So at that part, when it exploded, my audio went out, and I thought for the first few seconds it was part of the game. I was like, oh, this immersion is legit. Like, no, because it was perfect. If you know what I'm talking about, Phil. It was a perfect, like, a door opens, grenade goes off.
Uh-huh.
I was like, the immersion is so dope.
Wow.
I'm all writing notes. Like, but 15 minutes later, there's still no audio.
Yep.
Your guy went deaf. He can't hear anymore. It's over, right?
True immersion.
Yeah, it's true immersion.
It went from immersion to like, I don't know.
Now that I'm deaf,
you started crossing off your notes. Not immersion. Not immersion.
Not immersion. Missed opportunity. But wait, so it was a quick, but I couldn't reset. And then this was a major moment in the game. This was like a big pivotal moment, and I didn't get. It took me a whole nother hour to finish that mission, so I had an hour of crucial story
in silence,
muted in silence, and oh man. But so long story short, when we got to the review, I was terrified. I was like, I'm gonna be like the only. I think I gave it a 6. I want to say I gave it a 6. I could be lying. I gave it a 7, but I think I gave it a 6. I was like, I'm going to be the only 6 on the internet. I'm going to get drugged through the mud, because that's the worst thing ever. What we're reviewing, like, I feel validated when without knowing anybody else's scores, and the scores go out, and then I'm sitting in the meeting. I'm like, oh, then okay, I'm not far off. I did, that's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
But I was worried I was gonna, because this was a game that for years we seen the ads on Twitter.
Yeah.
Remember, they advertised the hell out of this game for a very long time.
Yeah.
Way before it even had like real commercials. And I was so scared. And we were having meetings. They were like, "So are you ready to get drug on Reddit, bro? Like, are you ready?" And I was like, because I had it happen for Outriders. Nobody.
Wow.
Nope. I got drugged through the mud on Outriders, and I ended up being right.
Yeah, you were,
man.
Well, no, I enjoyed it, but I told them, I said, first off, they sell this game as if it's a games as a service, and it's not.
No.
It needed to be.
Yes.
This was the one time a game needed to be a gas. Then they needed to add, on top of the gas, they needed to add seasonal content. It needed to be on Game Pass and or launch for $40. I wrote a whole article talking about all of this, and people on Reddit, oh, nobody wants a complete game anymore. I was like, no, it's not that. It's just the game style doesn't fit what they're like. It doesn't fit.
It was on Game Pass day one, wasn't it?
And I was vindicated. I was like, suck it! Suck it! And the game should have launched at $40. I'm a firm believer that, like, and Ubisoft is good for this. They'll launch a game at $49.99. Some games need that.
Yeah.
Remnant 2, perfect example. Launched at $49.99 is a beautiful game. In my opinion, it's a Game of the Year contender.
Yep.
Because the game is amazing and the price point is beautiful, and you get a complete experience with constant updates and crossplays coming soon.
Yep.
Like Remnant 2, it was a perfect storm. Their only sin was coming out in 2023.
Yep.
Any other year the game would be a standout shining star.
I'm actually surprised that game doesn't get more love than it does. Like, I played a fair shake of it, and like it gets no love anywhere. I'm like, this game doesn't suck.
It's too many other games. It's too many other games. That's the only problem.
Yep.
Well, we don't have to worry about that in a couple months.
Oh, dude. They're owned by Embracer, so we got to worry about that problem.
Oh, yeah, I didn't mention that news. That's right.
Which news?
Well, Embracer is thinking about selling them.
They're like dissolving a bunch of stuff and arts talks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fifth.
Are we in a gaming bubble?
Pleading the fifth.
Yeah, I know, Bill. Anyway. Are we in a bubble? In a bubble?
Like the gaming bubble. Like, it just feels like everything's about to, like...
Maybe.
Like, it just...
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, the Unity thing, I think, is actually is it evident of like, oh, look at this. It's weird to me to think about how much this industry makes. Yeah, I know. It's weird to me how much money this industry makes, and then things like Unity happen. It's strange. Mike, what have you been playing?
I forgot.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh, don't be sorry. Baron, we love having you on the show. This is amazing. Thank you so much for joining us.
Are you ending the show now, Roger?
Yes.
Okay,
Baron, thank you so much
thank
you so much for joining us, Baron. It was great having you on the show. Mike, thank you for joining. No, I'm just kidding. Mike, what have you been playing?
Always.
Yeah.
Man, if I've been going crazy with Tears of the Kingdom. Here I am
Really?
talking about. I don't play 160-hour games. I like 6 and 8 hour games. Here I am going crazy with Tears of the Kingdom. And it got to that point, where you're playing and you're like, okay, this ain't so bad. And then you hit that point where you're like, all right, I'm staying up past my bedtime.
Yeah.
I'm saying, let me just go a little bit further. I'm looking up stuff online, things like that. That's where I'm at, especially once I started getting into lighting up the, the underground area.
Oh, yeah.
All the light routes and stuff. And it's just like, I'm just discovering so much stuff. I'm walking around and all of a sudden I see this. It's not part of the story. It's just a giant skeleton flying boss just floating around, hanging out. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to go over there just yet. And so I got the whole thing. I got the Master Sword, and I still only beat 2 of the dungeons. So man, am I just loving it. See you later, Phil. Loving every minute of it. We're talking about Nintendo, so Phil's like,
Bill's, I'm out. Yeah,
this is
it's a break time.
Yeah. So I'm just like, oh man, I'm at that point where I'm just okay. It's grabbed me. Like I'm doing the Gerudo dungeon. And I'm loving the voice actress for the Gerudo Sage. Like she does an amazing job in it. It's so perfect. So I'm playing that, and more Dead Cells. Playing some more Dead Cells.
Oh yeah.
So,
but are you playing that Castlevania version or no?
Not yet.
No. Okay.
Not yet. Because I'm playing it on Xbox, and I don't have the Castlevania DLC for the Xbox yet.
Yeah.
So I still need to get that. But I've been playing a lot of that, going through that. I'm having fun with that. And then today was a very special day. I was at work. I was working in the office today. Drive home. I text my son. I said, "I'm pulled up. I'm in the front of the house. Let's go." As soon as he opens the door, I've got my phone and my Bluetooth all ready, and I hit the play button. My speakers are blasting the Mortal Kombat from the 95 movie, bam, 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 bam. I'm like, let's go! And the two of us went over to GameStop, and he got his PS5 version. I got my Xbox version.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, and he's like, the guy at GameStop, he's like, man, I got to tell you about the story. And I started yelling at him. I'm like, shut up! You shut up right now. I have a good relationship.
Okay,
with
good.
Him, so it's okay. I can do that. I mean, I say that to everybody on the street.
We're gonna have him on show next week and see if that's really true.
Guy?
Yeah.
No,
He's like, I don't like this guy. Why are you here? Why you didn't tell me Mike was going to be here? Is this an intervention? It's an intervention.
I'll have him tied up in the basement. All right, you're on the show. I told you I didn't want to be here. Shut up.
Tell him that we're friends. Tell them.
Yeah. We're friends.
It
all right,
buffs the dents out of the disc.
So
oh my gosh. Oh man. Baron, you're the best. I love having gosh, I have not laughed this hard in a long time. So
we got home. I'm like, I don't want to hear anything about the story. I don't want to hear any spoilers. I'm going to finish the story, get through it. I pop it in the Xbox, of course, Oh, by the way, you need to free up 140 gig.
Oh yeah. See, this is what I'm saying. Even the physical copies, they know that you're playing the game.
Yeah, but you can still install it without it being connected to the internet.
So I installed it and everything, and I'm like, okay, here we go. I'm gonna get started in the story mode, but I got a little impatient because it's like, hey, you can play the game now. I'm like, I can't. Yeah. It's still installing. Oh, I'm gonna do it anyway. But I couldn't get into the story mode because that was one of the last things to start. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go lab a little bit. I'm gonna go into practice mode. I'm gonna pick my boy. Well, my boy Reptile or Baraka wasn't downloaded yet, but I went to my other boy Reptile, and I was playing Reptile, just practicing combos, doing all this stuff. Got my and then so my son came down. I'm like, what are you up to? And he's like, oh, it's just installing. And I'm like, so you want to do a couple? I want to do a couple matches. Hour and a half later, the game is already fully installed. He and I are just like beating the hell out of each other. I was able to get a Reptile combo up to 30%.
Wow!
So knock off 30% of their health. And then I'm like, hey, should I try playing online? So I go into an online match, and my first online match, and I suck. I'm willing to admit it. I'm not that good at fighting games, and I was worried because the person I went up to, their name was like Revenant Killer, and Revenants are like they're characters in Mortal Kombat. So I'm like, okay, this is a serious person. This person knows their Mortal Kombat. And my very first match, I won. So I was like,
nice, GG, man, GG.
Yeah. So. But
cross
just
their
the fact
spirits.
They went and changed their name afterwards. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're like, screw this game. I hate it.
That guy's probably talking on his podcast.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
This guy with 0 wins just killed me. But yeah, like even like just playing it and just like and the really cool thing was because watching my son go from with Mortal Kombat 11 when he was like 12. I think he was 12 when that first came out. Just like, and then us watching on Twitch the tournaments, him getting into it, and then him like labbing and getting good at it, and then us playing, and then me beating him, beating my reptile, beating his Liu Kang, and then all of a sudden me turning to him and saying, "You let me win, didn't you?" And he's like, "Well, I was pulling my punches a little bit." I'm like, I want you to fight me for real, and then he just destroyed me.
Wow.
It's got to be a proud dad moment at the same time.
Yeah.
It's a very proud dad moment when
the mantle has been passed, right?
Fell in love with Mortal and remembers the very first day I saw Mortal Kombat at an arcade.
Yep.
I knew exactly where it was, when it was, what I did that day. Going from that when I was 11 years old to a point where my son is kicking my ass at the game. It was a very proud papa moment.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yes.
Cool. Anything else?
Waifu unplugged. No.
Unlimited.
Waifu undressed, whatever it's called.
Uncovered.
Get
your waifus right.
I got it mixed up with the MTV's Unplugged. It's just a bunch of waifus, and it's like
with
a Guitar Hero
acoustic guitars.
Game. Yeah. It's
you
a
hit
Guitar
your
Hero
notes
game
and their
with
clothes
waifus
just slowly fall off.
Right. The better you do, the more their clothes fall off. Actually, you know what, Phil?
Bling.
I think we got a good idea
Bling.
here.
Yeah. Don't build it in Unity though.
Do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be. Oh wait. It wouldn't be Unity. We would build on the one that would switch the U and the N.
It'd be
hey, there you go. Yeah.
Nudity.
Yeah. That's close enough.
All right, I'll shut up.
Very cool. That's what we were looking for. That, but there it is.
Well, that's what happens when you watch waifu on. Anyway, that's what happens. That's what happens when you're done playing the game. Roger, you've got me. It's 10:30. I'm usually asleep by now.
I know. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. It's
Barrett. No, Barrett. Yeah, we're having fun. Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
What in the newgrounds.com? No.
Oh God. Barnyard shenanigans.
Oh man. Stick man.
Phil, what have you been playing, Phil?
I also have been spending some time with Starfield. I want to love this game more than I do. I still don't. Which is sad because I've, again, like I said last week, I believe that I put 150 plus into Oblivion and into Skyrim and into Fallout 3 and into New Vegas and into Fallout 4 and this one's just not tickling my fancy. I find it, I want to love it. I want to, and I'm even playing like the main quest to try to advance that, but it's still just boring the hell out of me to the point where I've now dubbed it Snorefield because it just puts me the fuck to sleep.
Wow.
But I'm going to keep playing it because I'm hoping that moment happens where it clicks in my head and all of a sudden I keep going. But I'm like 9 hours into it as far as play-wise goes, and I'm chasing the main mission. I'm hanging out with Constellation. Part of my problem is that everywhere that I land looks the same, and the travel is just like here, there type of a thing, and it's all via the map. It's super annoying. Like, as somebody who just used to traverse all of whatever city, any kind of a Fallout or Oblivion or Elders or any of those were in, like, I would just walk by foot everywhere so that way I could go and explore every cave. But here I'm just bamfing from here to there, and it's just like, okay, cool, now I'm here, and I can walk around the planet in 20 minutes. Like, I'm bored.
You know,
I loved... Oh, go ahead, Barrett. Go ahead.
No, quick question.
Yeah, man.
Are you a Fallout 3 or a Fallout New Vegas guy?
I can go either way with that. Like, they're both...
Okay.
It's both a mood. Like, if I'm wanting to hang out with factions, New Vegas, but if I'm just looking to explore the wasteland, then 3. But, like, I love both of them equally as much. And I love 4 as well. And 4 got shit on, and I love 4.
Yeah. This reminds me of a Fallout 3, Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Like, if I had to rough compare it to... to other, definitely.
I agree.
So
the entire space thing just throws me off, like, because I like just wandering and doing that. And this, like, the wandering isn't so much of a facet of it where it's I'm going to take my spaceship and I'm going to hit 6 menu buttons and go to the next place. Like, I don't know. It's not doing much for me at this point. I want it to, which is why I haven't given up on it yet. And I'm going to keep going with it because I want it to hook me in. Like, I'm begging this game, like, please just take my soul. I want to spend 150 hours with it, but it's not doing it thus far.
I had to laugh at that hard drive.
Dude, like, that thing was
video.
so spot on.
Yeah. Oh, that was so spot on. So did you see this, Baron, at all? So it was
Cyberpunk.
No, with Starfield, and he's just like, so we're getting to the point where the game's gonna get fun. He's sitting on the main planet or whatever. And I'm
gonna help you find. Yeah, this. We're gonna find fun. We're gonna find fun.
You go to this menu. You go to this menu. You go to this menu, and this is the planet you want to go to. Gets out of the ship, and it's just like, oh, it's a flat planet with a couple of rocks in it. This isn't the right planet.
This is
so
the
what
right
we
planet.
need to do is we got to go back to the ship, and then we got to hit this menu, this menu, this menu, and then we're gonna go check out. Oh, it's another flat planet with nothing going on it. And he does it like 4 times in a row, just with random planets. He's just like, I guess this is the video where we find the fun. And like, I had the same thought before I even saw the video. I'm just like, oh, you guys fucking knocked that shit out of the park. But again, I'm gonna keep trying because I want to love it. I want to really, really bad. So I'm going to end up beating it. I know I will just because that's the way that I am. Even if I get done with it, I'm like, you know what? That was a solid 6.5, 7. I'm still going to put 100 hours into it. I'm going to. So there's that. Like, I'm playing Starfield.
Yeah.
Today I also decided to check out something called Solar Ash that just came to Game Pass because it just came to Game Pass and I wanted to check it out. This game to me feels a lot like Jet Set Radio to an extent. If that makes any kind of sense whatsoever, there's some kind of a thing, and I honestly think it's called a remnant or remnants that are taking over the planet that you're trying to defeat and get the home planet back. But you've got these rollerblades that you kind of glide around on, and you can do boosts and stuff like that as you take out the goo that's covering up the planet. Really pretty, very cel shaded, I should say, not cel shadedness. But I don't really understand what's going on, but that's also me being the moron that I am. But the controls are tight, the soundtrack's great, it looks amazing, it plays really, really well. The story's not hooking me, but I also don't play a lot of games for story for the most part. I'm playing for like the experience more than anything else. So it's one I'll probably continue to pick away on. I recommend checking it out if you're a fan of things like that. It almost, I almost want to say it's kind of Mario Sunshine-y, but it's really not because you're not like hosing these things down. But you have to like get to certain points where you got to take down part of the whatever's covering the thing. At which point like that all becomes uncovered. You clear out a section, you move on to the next section, you do the same to the section repeat ad nauseum. Solar Ash is what it's called. Couldn't tell you who it's by because I don't pay attention to that either because again it's me. But it's free on Game Pass if anybody has any interest in taking a look at something like that.
Cool. It looks cool.
Yeah, like outside of that, like I've just been playing the usuals.
Cool. For myself, I just reviewed a game called Making of Karateka or Karateka. I guess it depends on who. Like, so Jordan Mechner, who created the game, also Prince of Persia. He created Prince of Persia. He calls it Karateka, and it's awesome. In this game, like, I gave it an A+ because I love this game so much because like there's history in this game. So it talks about when he first started getting into the game industry and how he was pitching games, and he was pitching like this asteroid clone game, and they have playable demos of the games that he actually sent off to them. And I mean, they're okay, right? Like, I mean, back then they would have been amazing. So he used an Apple IIe to make all his games, and it's just amazing. But yeah, he came up with this game called Karateka, and so Digital Eclipse did a Making of Karateka. It's total history, and then they included a remake of Karateka in the game as well. And Micah like really focused on the fact that one of the things that so you can play the game and you have commentary on. If you're going to play the game, like I would have the commentary on. They did a remake of the game. And he talked about how when we go back to games that we played as kids, like we think of it a different way and then we play it as adults and it's like, doesn't play the same because our memory is different. And now as adults, we played so many other games that like we trained our brain differently, right, when we play games now than what was back then. So he said, I wanted to make sure that it captured the feel of what you had when you were younger and played this game. So like he took real like effort into thinking about like how the game will play, like how to make sure like the controls feel modern, but it feels like you're playing the old game. And it's so well done. Oh my gosh. It's such a cool game. If you've never played Karateka, it was like one of the first storytelling games. And the crazy thing is, like, I didn't know this about this game, but he did rotoscoping, like, because he wanted to do actual action. So he filmed his dad doing all these actions. He filmed his sister as a princess doing these actions. And he filmed himself, and he's like 20. He was like 20 years old in college, and he's filming himself as the villain. And it's just so amazing. And then he took the film and then he traced every single scene with tracing paper, and then took that and made it into sprites. It's amazing. It's amazing. And to show the whole process of how he did that, it is. If you're going to build a game, not in Unity, but if you're going to build a game and you want to get into this, like, this is a really good place to start with and look at how game design is, because he really thought through a lot of like the colors, how the set would go. And when he made Karateka, he wanted to do the parallax where you have like the side scrolling, right? The background scrolls differently than the front scroll. Yeah. But Apple couldn't do that. It just didn't have the ability. So what he did was he just basically made an image that stood still, and then he had other images move in front of it to make it look like it was actually moving. It was so incredibly well done for the tools that he had at the time. Like, now it's a lot easier, right? But what he was able to do with the tools he had at the time, it's an unbelievable game. Like, and he did this, and he was like, I think he started working on it when he was like 18 years old. So like this crazy, and it makes me feel like I'm a fraud, because what did I do? I didn't do anything.
You want me to tell you what I was doing when I was 20?
Do you remember?
Completely change the rating of this podcast. I'm going to talk to you about my 20s.
So my review is on gamerheadspodcast.com, so you can go read that. And then, like I mentioned, I have been playing some F-Zero 99. So this is a new game that just came out. Nintendo Shadow dropped it. I actually did not expect this game to come out. It's like, like Tetris 99. It's like in the same vein where it's a battle royale type game, and every lap that you do, you have to make it in a certain number, like certain place. Like, it might be like, so it's 99 racers, and after the first loop you have to be at least top 50 to make it to the next loop, and then it's like top 40 and then top 25 and so on. My first race that I raced with 99 people, I came in 8th place, 7th place. I was very proud of myself. And then every race after that, I didn't do so great. But the first one
gets one.
Yeah, everybody gets one. That's right. The first one. And it's kind of cool, because what they do is they'll pick out other players, and they're like players that are around your rank, because they give you a ranking, and they're like, here are your rivals. If you're able to beat these rivals, then your rank will go up. It's pretty cool. So yeah, so you'll see other players, and then you can see where your friends are at. So like Carrington, I can see his ranking, and yeah, it's pretty neat. It's pretty neat game. So I've been playing that, and then the last game I'll just mention is Splatoon 3, which they also talked about at the Nintendo Direct. The side order, I think it's called, right, is the new DLC that's coming out. Looked amazing. My daughter is interested in esports in her school, and they're doing Splatoon. So like, her and I played in the Splatfest over the weekend, and we didn't do well. I think we won one match, but that's okay. I told her, I said, listen, because like before that we were playing just online and we were beating people, and I was like, I'm just going to tell you right now, once we get into the Splatfest, like, there are people that play like competitively, like really, and this is going to feel more like the esports when we actually play against other people in a Splatfest. And yeah, like, sure enough, like, she got a little frustrated. She was like, "Oh, we're not winning matches." I'm like, "That's okay. What you're here is to learn, right? Not to win." So, but it was fun. It was pretty cool. It was fun bonding time with my daughter too. So that was fun. So, it's really strange because my son does, but my other two kids like don't really care about video games, and I'm like, "What is wrong with you? You're my kid. You should love video games." So yeah. So that's what I've been playing. Well, let's do this. Let's keep our Tales from the eShop game till next week. Phil, I'll give you some time to play more of it. I'm super excited to... Yeah. I know you want to.
I was actually kind of stoked to talk about it. That's the thing.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, we'll talk about it next week. Before we head out, though,
not here.
Let's go around to. You're not.
Not
there
anymore.
You are. Okay.
I was gonna. Not now. Fuck it.
Okay. Wow. Before we head out, let's go around and tell people how they can get a hold of us. Baron, how can people find you on social media and follow your work as well?
Yes. So if you want to directly interact with me for some godforsaken reason,
why wouldn't you want to?
At Baron J67, everywhere I'd want you to find me. And then for where it might work, you can find me at Lvl1Gaming.com, YouTube.com/Lvl1 Gaming. Everything from news, reviews, and everything in between. So, there's just a bunch of stuff there. And you can come check us out. And if you're wanting to write, we don't have much of anything as a budget, but you can keep your portfolio and take it anywhere you want.
We have a budget, right, Phil?
Yeah,
right?
Totally. We blew it all this.
We're getting paid
by
for this.
Baron on. I mean, I am. I don't know about you guys.
Wait, where's my W-9? No. I wasn't aware of this.
It's hidden in the contract with Unity somewhere. That's yeah. It's all in the small print. Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. Do we need the? We need the. Yeah. There we go. There it is. There it is.
Guess that keeps on taking.
That's right. Mike, how can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at PezGuyMike.
And Phil, how can people find you on social media?
I'm on Twitter at BNow23.
And listeners, you can find us on Twitter. You can find us at Gamerheads Pod. You can also find us on Blue Sky at Gamerheads Podcast. And you can find us on probably any place at Gamerheads Podcast. You can find us at our website at gamerheadspodcast.com. And then you can also follow me individually at Nintendaraj on Twitter. I'm not individually on Blue Sky, but I run the Blue Sky account, so you'll interact with me there. So, and check out our website. Baron, thank you so much for joining us. It was really fun having you on the show. I hope you had a good time. I hope you come back.
Yeah, this was awesome.
Good.
It feels
you are
good
going to come
not
back?
having a host. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, good.
I can just pop in, talk mess, and disappear. It's the best.
Yeah. That's right. Most guests don't come back. Yeah, that's true. Most guests, I don't know why they don't come back. I say come back, and then they just never show up. Except for Jill. Jill keeps showing up every time, and that we invite her back.
Jill is the best.
She is the best. She actually, like, I don't know if you know this, Baron, but she is our. We have a club, a 7-time guest club, and she is the first winner of like a little medallion that says 7-time guest club.
I want to win the silver.
She's also the only person that's ever the 3-time guest club.
That's true. And the 8-time and the 25 and the yeah, that's right. That's true. Like
she's cleaning house. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
I gotta compete.
Well, you gotta come back. You gotta come back.
That's the only way I can compete.
That's right. So we'd love to have you back. Thank you so much for joining us. Mike, thank you so much for joining us this week.
Thank you.
And Phil, thank you so much for joining us this week.
Always a pleasure.
And listeners, thank you so much for giving us a listen. Make sure to follow Baron and Lvl1 Gaming as well. I'll leave links in the show so that way you can do that. And thanks for giving us a listen. If you like what you hear, leave us a review. We want to hear what you have to say about the show. Until next week, everybody, stay safe and game on. Bye.
See ya.
Take care.